What are some of the tactical ways that you make sure that you retain your members?
Do I have to reveal the secrets? Look, there's art in programming. It takes more than somebody just writing a workout to cook somebody. You could write a program to destroy the best athlete in the world. You could write that and he could spew and have you done your job? Some people would say yes, you know what I mean?
All right, welcome back to another episode of the John Unfiltered podcast. I'm Dozy, your host, and today I'm here with Anthony Bartolo. Are we doing Anthony Bartolo?
Yeah, why not?
Should we go Barts?
We can go Anthony, Joseph, Emmanuel, Bartolo if you like.
There's more of it.
There's more of them.
Barts is from a network of studios called ACTV Strength Co. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. The reason why I've got you here, and Luke's out here in the background as well, your co-founder, is you guys are doing something really special in the industry. And I want to kind of unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
We have some really good chats around where you see the industry heading, what you see is really important from a concept and customer experience and sort of the members and things like that. So we'll touch on all of that. And I want to also get really tactical as well, because the people who listen to this, lots of gym owners, studio owners, Pilates, yoga, and all these mixed modalities that we're meeting now. Yeah. And so they love hearing from high achievers like yourselves.
That's cool. I wasn't nervous until you've talked me up so much.
Good. Yeah. Let's go back to the start. How'd you get here to a place where you've got, if you don't mind, multiple successful businesses, ACTV Strength Co in Burleigh, plus a few others, and now you're at a point where yourself and Lukey are sort of expanding the network and franchising this out, which is really exciting for you guys.
Yeah, I love this question, Doze, and I love it because it's probably a bit of an unconventional story for me, you know what I mean? Like, I've built everything around the hard work and that sort of ethos, just getting down and having a dig and not being afraid to fail. So, I mean, I know that that's a lot of entrepreneurial people's sort of journey, but if you go back 15 years, there's no way I'm sitting in this chair. And the journey has not been linear to any stretch of the imagination. There's been so many ups and downs and so many failures, but it's been that thing in me that I'm just not afraid to fail. And it's that simple. I'll give anything a crack and I'll throw my whole self into that. So
where's that come from?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I've just had a burning desire since I was a young fella to really try and be more, and never being happy with the finished product. I'm never, ever happy. Right. And even when it seems like it's perfect to the outside world, I'll never be happy, and I'll always tweak it, and I'll always try and do things to evolve. I think there's so many things in business, but one thing that I think we nail really well is the ability to be able to evolve and always have that mindset. Always have the mindset to make sure we're evolving.
You mean as a brand or as leaders?
As leaders, as a brand, as a program, as whatever we're doing in business. It's never finished. There's never a finished product. You've always got to be evolving.
So tell me the sort of story. You're a young boy from Mackay?
Yeah. So I grew up in Mackay, pretty humble beginnings, had 5 biological brothers and sisters and 2 sort of fosters.
Yeah. So you're one of 8 in that whole situation?
Yeah. We lived in a small home too, 3-bedroom home. So awesome upbringing in regards to having people around me and everything else. But I saw sort of that side of my parents really grinding and having to put food on the table was a stress, you know what I mean? So I think that's where the hunger come from, to try and go to that next level and be a little bit better. So.
Okay. So what age were you when you left Mackay?
Mate, I was 17, so straight after high school. I moved down here with a mate, and we were lucky enough to come and play for a local footy side called Gold Coast Seagulls.
Yeah.
And it's sort of where it all started. I mean, rugby league always gave me confidence, I guess, and that's education or anything like that didn't really give me the confidence, but sport gave me confidence, and I gained a lot from coming down here and being thrown in the deep end, living by yourself, everything else as a 17-year-old, it's pretty confronting. So, yeah, mate, like, again, great childhood, but I think that's where I got the hunger from. I got the hunger from seeing my parents really have to fight for it.
Fuck. That might be a gift, right? Because in this day and age, I think there's we've talked about this before, like studio owners can sometimes open up these businesses, and sometimes, they're high on excitement and enthusiasm and a sexy logo, but they're probably a bit low on the hard work.
Exactly right. And 15 years ago, kicking stones around, probably didn't think it was a gift, but these days, I mean, I reflect and I thank God for the way I was brought up and everything else. So it did give me that drive and that work ethic to throw everything I've got things. And yeah, 100% right. I think even with selling our franchises, I really try and tell the franchisees, this is going to be harder than you ever believe.
But I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you tell them that.
Yeah. You've got to work harder than you can ever imagine. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. And we all know that.
Yeah.
But to put that into play, there's some can, some can't, you know what I mean? Or some will learn and then some will react and get there. But there's a lot of hard work that goes into these sort of things. So
okay. So how did you get into gyms?
I'm a Sparky by trade, and playing rugby league and everything else, I was always a small rugby league player. Yeah. And I really started looking into my own body and how I could maximize my own results and I guess maximize my athletic potential. How good could I get? How fast could I get? So from a young age, I sort of really delved into all the sciencey stuff within your body.
So how you got into it was if you felt like you had to because that was the way that you were going to get the advantage and maximise if you felt like you were.
Yeah, what I had as an athlete. And I dove into everything from nutrition to how could I put on more muscle mass, all those sort of things from a young age. And I was working away at the time as a Sparky, and one of my, call him a mentor, Joseph Coyne, he's a very, very well-respected strength and conditioning coach around Australia. He's worked for multiple NRL clubs. He worked for the UFC as an S&C. He was selling his gym, and then, I bought it. It was CrossFit Caesar at the time. And
this one here?
Yeah. And I just dove head. So people were calling me crazy. I had good mates saying, mate, there's 15 gyms in Burleigh, 15 at the time, probably 63 now.
Right.
Don't do it. There's just no room. And at the time, we put our prices at, I think it was about 49. Most people would charge them 45. But I just believed that there was a really big gap in the market. And the dream come to life. For 2 years of grind.
2 years of grind.
Yeah, lots of lessons. It was my first business. So the biggest side of it wasn't the actual program writing or anything like that. The biggest lessons were in business, understanding actually what it takes to run a business, trying to negate all the little things like BAS and everything else. It's, if you're not prepared, it can hit you, it can slap you in the face pretty hard.
Like the first time we got the BAS bill, I said to Benny, how good is this? We're getting money from the government. Yeah. And then he goes, you fucking idiot, we've got to pay that.
Yeah. Well, look.
And I said, with what? We don't have money.
Yeah. And I mean, exactly right. That was similar to me. I sort of was on the back foot a little bit and trying to learn all the stuff on the run. And I had some good mentors around me and people around me. But in the end, that was the biggest struggle, just trying to understand how can I make this thing profitable? Because I had a dream, I had an idea, I had a plan, but how do we actually make this thing profitable so I can live a good lifestyle?
So how'd you do it? How'd you guys get the first active studio pumping?
There were so many things. And from the start, we didn't have a name. We had no systems in place whatsoever. So it was all hard work and grind. And I mean, these days we've systemized so much. Again, a lot thanks to you guys and everything else. But I guess the biggest thing was just getting out and getting out in the community and making connections and really showing people. There's that old quote, people don't care what you say until they know you care.
Yeah.
And really, I just honed in on that because I did care. I cared, one, about the concept that I had. I also care about people and I care about getting the best out of people. And to be honest, to start, that was the main focus. It was just showing people how much we give a shit. Really building the business around we are the next level when it comes to care, customer service, and our programming. And they're the basic things that you can do. Every studio owner can show that, you know what I mean? So they were the basic things that got us pumping. But now we've had to dive a little bit deeper and systemize things, get more under the hood, so to speak, so that we are the next level in so many different avenues.
So when did you open the first gym?
Early 2018.
And then when did the second active pop up?
So that was about 5 years later.
5 years later.
5 or 6 years later.
Yeah. And at this point, how successful had Studio One?
Yeah. So, I mean, Studio One, it was really, really peaking before COVID. Literally 50 people in every single class. It was absolutely...
How many active members? Literally active members. You get it?
We're sitting around that 280, 300 mark, you know what I mean? And if you know Active Burleigh and where we are, we're tucked away right deep in the corner. We've never had anyone walk past and sign up, you know what I mean? So we were absolutely smashing it, especially compared to our outgoings, which aren't very much. So
yeah. Well, and I want to talk about that in a second. Yeah. And did you know back then you wanted a franchise?
Yeah. I did. I didn't know I didn't know which way I was going to go.
You didn't know.
I was either going to franchise or I was going to open one with somebody else. Yeah. And he actually later became a franchisee. And then COVID happened, and I'm not going to lie, for the first... I reckon 48 hours, I sat there and I kicked stones and I probably had a few tears. I just opened a cafe and a restaurant just before that as well. So it was 48 hours of feeling sorry for myself. You know what I mean? I was like,
the exact same thing.
Yeah, this is hard. This is going to wreck me. But then that mindset, I think that we have, that people that the entrepreneurial sort of minds have, I just went to work from there. I sat there with my business partner, Ali, and we came up with a concept of Active Online, and we worked tirelessly, and I mean around the clock. I'm talking 15, 16-hour days to get an online platform up in 2 to 3 weeks.
So you actually got a platform up?
A full platform.
It wasn't just people doing stuff on Zoom?
No. It was a full online platform.
Why weren't you just satisfied with some Zoom?
Yeah, because I wanted to touch everyone around Australia. I wanted to reach. I knew that this, or even around the world, and we had people in the UK, we had people in America.
Fuck, really?
Yeah. We really dominated through that time because of the platform. And that gave us a launching pad after COVID to actually start spreading the message. Yeah. So I didn't want to think small. I didn't just want to zoom in my little population. I seen it as an opportunity to really get the Active name out there. And it's funny because Brad, our Eltham franchisee in Melbourne, he was actually one of those people that jumped onto our online platform. He called me randomly and said, mate, I'm doing your online program and I'd love to open an active. So that in itself created that momentum. And that forward thinking back then, not just to be satisfied with doing a few Zoom classes. I really wanted to get the message out there, and I seen it as an opportunity to spread the word.
Wow. It was only because you guys did the work, though.
Exactly
like
right.
You used that opportunity to, I think we all did the same thing, 48 hours of just filming ourselves.
And we actually, even with the cafe that had just opened, I come up with a sneaky little thing that we took all the kettlebells, dumbbells, anything we could pretty much carry. There's a little spare area next to the cafe. And I said to all my members, I said, hey, there's gym gear at the cafe. We kept the cafe open. You can go get that gym gear anytime you like as an individual and go use it down the park. We set up class time so people could because you could walk 2 meters from somebody and still have that interaction. We set up class times and they were all spread out along Burleigh Esplanade, and we'd have 30, 40, 50 people sometimes working out together. But what did those 30, 40 people do when they finished working out? They got a coffee. And that kept that floating as well. So again, not having that defeatist mindset and trying to go, okay, well, how can I actually make the best out of this situation is what we're about. That's ethos that ACTV Strength Co is. We don't give in and we try to go to that next level every single time.
And then 3 and 4 popped along, yeah?
Yeah. So after COVID, I went through a stage of it become very overwhelming because my other business partner, he doesn't work in the business. There was a lot to do. I was having thoughts of bringing someone else on and having a few conversations. And then I brought it up with a long-term member and a good mate of mine, Luke, and he deputy principal or principal. I'm not sure which one. And somebody that thinks completely differently to me. And that's what I was after. I wasn't after somebody that thought the same way I did and was a bit chaotic. I was after someone a little bit more down the line, liked numbers, liked data, and really wanted to get into that backside of the business. So once I started talking to him, I was talking to a few people at the time, and the other 2 people I was speaking to, they were much like me, and we just decided to go head first into it, and Lukey came on board and has really helped elevate that whole process because, again, I think you guys made us do a personality test, actually, and we're completely opposite, which is really, really handy in business.
But in the best way.
Yeah.
Mr. K over there. So same thing with me and Benny, right? Yeah. Like if it was just 2 of us, we'd have the best fucking time.
Yeah, yeah.
But there'd be a lot of loose ends.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone needs to sort out and one of us might be in jail.
Yeah.
But we need Mr. K and Benny to finish the things. And that's why, when we see you guys sort of work, I mean, the last 2 days we've been filming your education portal, which we'll talk about in a second. Yeah. And that sort of stuff is coming to life because it wasn't just an idea, it was an execution as well. And so I feel like that is kind of a secret power that you guys have now.
Yeah, definitely.
When we met with a lot of networks, we met with a lot of CEOs of different networks and all brilliants, got nothing to do with the brilliants, but often it's the team around them to be able to take the hype and turn that into profit for the studios.
Yeah, exactly right. I think, and that's one thing I'm learning on the fly is empowering people a little bit more. And that's something that I've really had to work on and working on right now.
Why?
That's a great question. I wasn't expecting you to say why those. I think because there probably is a little bit of control freak in me. That's also a positive because I really care about our product. I care about it more than most, I think. Really care about every single member in the active network. That's not a bullshit claim. I really...
Because that's easy to say, right?
It is. But I can tell you right now, when sometimes every now and again, someone will cancel via the Hello at ACTV Strength Co, which is HQ's email, and it'll be from Eltham or Cooley, and I read it and it hits me and I can't help but ring and say, hey, why did this person cancel? And I really want to know because it matters to me, you know what I mean? I believe we have the best product in the world. So that whole control and letting go of control, especially when you are franchising out, I can't be at Cooley, Eltham, Ashmore, Ballina, Brisbane. I can't be at these places. So empowering my people to have that passion is my next mission, to make sure they have the exact same care factor as me and everything else, and just giving them that power rather than trying to control it from the bleachers, if you like.
I think this is a really exciting time for you. And then, in about 3 hours' time, Rowan turns up, who is part of the personality test that you guys both did, and same thing as us. This is that exciting part for you, as I believe that transition from, you've always been that hard worker, from Mackay right through to footy.
Yeah.
Because you had to be, right?
Yeah,
because you had to be.
Yeah.
But now it's that sort of, how do you shift that identity into becoming that multiplier? And then having that leverage and building the team around you and allowing them to kind of, help support this big dream and therefore have like not 1,000 members, but 100,000.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, I know that and it's just about doing the work. I'm excited for it and I am doing it.
Talk me and the audience through the concept, the product. Why is it different?
One thing I like to think when I talk about when I get asked this question is, it's our little differences that make the biggest difference. You know what I mean? Because we are in a sea full of gyms. There's gyms everywhere. And it's what Active Strength Co believes in. And sometimes it can be the finite things that really separate you. If somebody goes to a different gym around, but you're 1% better at saying hello, you're 1% better at saying goodbye, you're 1% better at explaining the science that goes in program, that all starts to accumulate. And all of a sudden you're 10, 15, 20, 30% better. So as far as the similarities in gyms go, there's always going to be that. But we really like to hone in on those small things. And as far as a product standpoint goes, when we program, and we'll talk, because there's multiple things we do, but we'll talk about the program first. The way we do it in the progressive, personalized manner is actually that. And it's not just words. We put so much time and effort into what we do at Active as far as progressing people. And I know it stands out. I know for a fact it stands out, because as much as you're sitting there looking at everybody, so am I. And I know the product as far as what we do stands out. And I don't know how deep to go into it. Because
I want you to rant.
Look, when we talk about programming, I've got my eyes on everybody, and I see people all the time being irresponsible, not caring about it. And there's art in programming. It takes more than somebody just writing a workout to cook somebody. You could write a program to destroy the best athlete in the world. You know what I mean? You could write that and he could spew and have you done your job? Some people would say yes. You know what I mean? I've made a spicy workout. How good?
Spicy workout.
Yeah. But the artistry in programming is to really progress your athletes without that burnout, and progress them in more ways than one. You've got to be increasing aerobic capacity, anaerobic capacity. You've got to be looking at their body composition and are they progressing there? Then you've got thousands of members in your network, and you've got newbies coming in. So how do you put in little points in your program to progress them to get to that point of the network? So we look at all these things on a whole, and we really focus on the progression of not only the network, but the individual, and individual tailored sessions that other networks just don't do. Giving options in programming to make sure that Sophie can come in, you can come in, and you may have two different goals, but you can do the same workout and progress for your goals.
Because the way you do the programming, because you're the head artist, right?
Yeah.
You cater to the beginner right through to people that are competing this weekend at High
To the advanced athlete, exactly right. And not even High Rocks, but we've got some of the best athletes in Australia that train with us in off-season. We've got Melbourne Storm players. We've got Socceroos. We've got people that come to us because they know we are the next level when it comes to programming. We're not going to burn you out. We're not just doing things for the sake of it.
So is that what it is? Is that the difference in, I know we're just talking about the programming side of things right now.
At the moment, correct.
Is that the nuance?
We don't exercise, we train. And look, some workouts are going to be really hard. Absolutely no doubt. Some are going to be moderate and some are going to be on the easier side, but there's always a plan behind it. The next thing where we really stand out, that's been a good segue into it, is education. We don't just do workouts for the sake of it. We educate every single member. Every single class has a description on why we're doing it and where we're at with it. And our members get access to that. And if they want to really engage in our program, after a year, they're going to be more qualified than somebody that's just come out of a PT course. 100% more qualified, because they've got that education through Active Strength Co. They care about their training and they've been able to read and understand things. I love it when a member says, "Oh, Bart, I've seen that little write-up. Can you delve a little bit deeper into it?" And I'll give them half an hour sometimes. I sit there and talk about it because I'm so passionate.
Really? So they'll ask you about it?
100%, yeah.
And do you reckon that contributes to your elite level churn rate?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you've got purpose behind something, you're more than likely to engage. If you're just throwing workouts out up for the sake of it, then what does it matter? But if you can read something and go, okay, we're doing this because we're at this week in the program, we're at this session, then people understand it and they engage with the program.
Listeners, I don't want you guys to miss the nuance in this. So we talked about there's progression, there's a purpose to the workouts. It's not just about turning up, getting the sweat on, which you could really get anywhere else. But a purpose means that people are getting progression.
Exactly.
And if people aren't getting results, I don't care how fucking vibey your community is. If they're not getting results at some point, $70 a week gets pretty spicy. That's the first thing. The second thing is education. This is an X factor for you guys. I wonder how much of this drive for educating your members and your team and some of the stuff that we've been working on comes from the fact that you were never really satisfied with the education that you experienced kind of on the way up through.
Yeah, well, I mean, possibly, but the big thing is I want to help people and I want to elevate their training experience. And not only that, I want to get them to a point where they expect more from this industry, and they should expect more, because if they go somewhere else and that happens, and I always say to Lukey, when in our own studio in Burleigh, they'll be back. And I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, they come back because they're not getting that same amount of care or education that we give them.
It's a massive point, listeners.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better when someone comes back, and they do. It's way better than getting a new member. It's so much better. It's so rewarding because then the community also sees, hey, they went somewhere else. It wasn't the same.
It's almost like by design, you guys, as in our franchising this out, you guys are actually an education company rather than just another gym.
Exactly right. And that's where we want to be. We want to educate our members, but we also want to educate our franchisees how to be good business owners, how to run a profitable business, rather than just saying, here's some gym equipment, here's a program, go. We really want to educate them on the business side of things.
So what are you doing around that? Like if I'm buying into the Active Network, what am I?
Well, the first thing is, and it's a beautiful system that we've co-created, is the Profitable Open. If you go through that training, you can apply that to any business you ever do in your life. You know what I mean? And yes, you're going to open an Active and it's going to be amazing and thriving because of the systems that we've created. But 10 years down the track, you might sell it and you've got that knowledge forever because we've trained you in that. Again, that means more than me than just a successful Active. We're not taking our franchisees and just giving them a gym and saying, good luck.
Right.
We're educating them enough that they've got these skills for life. And it's an amazing thing. And it makes me proud. It makes Lukey proud. You guys should be proud too because you've helped create it.
I love that. We talk about it all the time, and the reason why we believe in you boys is because we haven't seen it yet. The CEOs and the COOs, up at the top care this much about not just the vibe and spreading the logo and the brand presence, but the profitability of people that invest in you guys. Because actually investing in you guys,
of course,
if they wanted to just invest in a workout, there's fucking tons of options up there. It's like walking into the cereal aisle at Woolies, right? But I think what people realize is that they're going to get educated along the way. It's not just a support channel on Slack. It's actually like, we're going to teach you guys how to open, how to profit, and then how to take your first 3 months and just blow the doors wide open.
Yeah.
What I love about it as well is that you guys are actually business people, that you are thinking about not getting just stuck in the fucking hype of high street location with expensive fit outs because it's trendy. Lukey's on realestate.com all day long.
He is.
ROI and profit and loss statements.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And Lukey's hit the nail on the head. We want you to ROI as fast as possible, and we want you in that profit ASAP. You know what I mean? That's the be all and end all. If you don't have that, you don't have a business. So
I'm just going to be straight here. Most gym owners don't know their profit. This is an Australian stat. 43% of businesses small businesses didn't make a profit. 75% of business owners earned less than the adult minimum wage, despite working more than full-time hours. So the fact that you guys are focused heavily on reverse engineering profit from day one for these owners.
And it's got to be that way. Not to throw any network under the bus, because I love this industry and I think everyone's doing an amazing thing. But I do see some people, some networks driving their franchisees into very high rental spaces, and it's very irresponsible in my belief. And that's just one thing that I've got to peeve with the industry.
You guys are really focused on this, what Lukey does, right? So focus on making sure the numbers work, right?
Exactly.
It's not just about hype and excitement.
No, it can't be. Exactly.
Tell me more a bit about that.
Yeah, well, again, Lukey's the expert here, but we start off with square meterage. I mean, what is your square meterage worth and what return are you going to get on that? So if the numbers don't work, it's a no from us. You know what I mean? So we'll never walk a franchisee into a position where they're struggling from day one. That would be irresponsible just to grow the brand. Why would you do that to hardworking humans and the network as well? We're not about that. Lukey might want to weigh in here, actually.
Lukey, jump in. Swap out.
No.
All right, Lukey's just jumping. Go.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Mr. K in the house.
Mr. K in the last life, and I think it's really helping me in this life. Growing off butts is care. We truly do care. We care about the members, but a big part of what I do is I get to care about our franchisees. We're getting offered daily other properties with other gyms in them. We're not prepared to put our guys into them. So
why not?
They're not profitable. So sexy to us is
but you're growing a network.
P&L that is going to work, and growing a network that's profitable. So currently all of our current franchisees are talking to me about owning their second studio. That is how we want to grow. We want to grow with the people that already believe in our brand, can see it and have experience. Joey down Coolangatta has been open 12 months and he's just bought another 4 studios off us. This is the type of people that we want to work with and help grow our brand.
With the care factor, it can't be taught. And what we're doing is we're picking people that do care. And when we talk about franchisees, we've said no to franchisees as well. You don't just apply for an active franchise and get it. We're also looking for the right people for this. And that's why our growth is slow, but it's very purposeful. We're doing this because we care about the industry. And if you don't fit the bill, then then it's just not going to happen. So we're looking for the people that care. We're looking for the people in the industry that really want to take it to the next level, that expect more from themselves, from us, from their members, so that we all grow together and we grow as one, rather than just taking Billy from the street who just wants to do an active because he wants to make some money. Yeah, you're going to make great money, but that's not the people we want in the network. So the other thing, I guess, here is what we've built before. I mean, we even really got started, and we built a world-class franchisee portal, a world-class online portal. We've built out this profitable open really before we've got started, and we know that other networks, they wait. I mean, some networks got 50 studios and they haven't done what we've done, you know what I mean? So we've also picked 4 different locations, different building sizes, different building types, to make sure our model does work in different locations, different building types, different demographics, before we really give it a good nudge. And it's exciting times for Active in the next couple of years, because we know it works in all different demographics. We know it works in different building types, and we know the product stands up against so-called industry leaders. So, and we can't wait to really get it out there in the next couple of years.
All right. So let's give these listeners some tactical things that they can grab onto. I know you have been the face of like the Burleigh studio in terms of like from the start, like you were doing the onboarding, you were doing the sales, you were doing the retention, you were running the classes, and all the little things that you do really well becomes your X factor. Yeah. And the work that we've been doing has been almost like sort of interrogating you to get it out of your head. Into a system for your studios, right? So if you're giving me an advice, right, whether I own an active or something else and we're just having a drink at the coffee shop, what are some of the tactical ways that you make sure that you retain your members? Yeah,
well, I mean, first thing we're going to talk about is hard work for a start.
Okay.
There's never a point where you can switch off. And when I say that, switch off, I mean, some people get to a point in business and they think, okay, I'm here now. I'm at the top. And they'll back it off a little bit. It just gives you another chance to get to the next step. So if you want to get to that next step, you've got to work hard again. You know what I mean? There's never a point in business, I think, where the hard work stops. We're in this because we love it, and we love that. So when you think you've made it, it's just another opportunity to go to the next level. It doesn't cap out. You know what I mean? If you've got 300 members in your gym, get 320. Open another gym, whatever it is. Don't rest on your laurels, because it just doesn't work that way, and it'll quickly catch up with you. That's point number 1.
Yep.
The care factor, actually care. You can't hide away from it. It's a genuine thing. And if you do care, again, we just touched on one of my favorite quotes. People don't want to know what you know until they know you care. And that's the truth. There's no greater quote than that for me, because if people know you care, they're going to listen.
But if I'm a member walking into your Burleigh studio, what do I experience? What sort of system can you point to go, that proves we care?
Yeah, so we've systemized out the Active Perfect class. So what does that look like?
What does it look like?
Do I have to reveal the secrets?
I'm glad you asked.
Look, without going into depth too much, it is everything's done at the next level. We truly mean that. So when we say hello to somebody, we're making sure it's personal. It's not just, hey, Billy, hey, Sally. From there, it's running a next level class. Then it's next level warm down, and then it's a next level goodbye. And making people feel amazing is a part of our job. That is what we do. But also holding the standard in the studio. The value in your studio is going to come from the standard you set. And if you're setting a good standard and making sure you're pushing people and helping them achieve their goals, they're in a fitness studio for a reason. They're not there to talk about their weekend, to talk about their golf swing. They're there for a reason. They're there to get results. And that's our job. And if you're not helping them with that, they're 50, 60, 70 bucks a week will be spent somewhere else, I can guarantee it. Value in standards is huge. Sally can be on the ski erg, and she's doing an amazing job. And you know Sally, you know where she normally hits. She's hitting 2,000 watts on the ski erg, and she's going hard. An average coach would be saying, Sally, great work. You're doing an amazing job. And what does that mean?
5 seconds to go.
Exactly. Well, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
It kills me. It's that personal cue to say to Sally, hey, you're hitting 200. Let's keep that standard for the whole session. And then you're over her shoulder saying, don't let it slip, Sally. Do not let that slip. And that may sound a little bit harsh for poor old Sally, but Sally's going to thank you a ton when the session's over. But the next time Sally's going to be hitting 205 and she's going to be hitting 210. Sally never progresses unless your coaches are queuing numbers. Queue numbers. Don't just queue for the sake of queuing. It's really, really important.
Wow. I'm also interested more about the experience as a newbie as well, right? So I've just submitted myself as a lead into the system.
you've obviously heard that one of our credos is next level. So we're on the phone within 5-10 minutes.
Good.
And I mean
10. Let's bring that to 5.
When I say we, I mean Luke. It matters to us. These people, and you said it yesterday beautifully, they've sent us a lifeline, and it's up to us to help them. So we're on the phone making that happen, getting them booked in. Our induction process is a place where we can amalgamate people and make them feel they've found a home. And that comes a lot from the person taking the induction, is being vulnerable and being a people person and making sure you can take different personalities and almost break them down a little bit, you know what I mean? Make them feel that it's all right to be vulnerable in this space because we're here to help. And then from there, when we talk newbies, it is, everyone's been a newbie. You've been a newbie. I've been a newbie.
Yeah.
Well, we've all been newbies, and it can be threatening. So I still get nervous. If I go to a class in Sydney or Melbourne or something like that, I'll get a little bit like, oh, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So it's really, really important to go to that next level with customer service and make sure that newbie feels at home. Make sure they're being watched and coached. The first couple of sessions is more about just making them feel like they understand and they can talk to you. And then, I mean, we're coaching as well and making sure that they're lifting all right, and cueing the correct way, making sure that they're safe. And as soon as they feel safe, you've got them.
You mentioned something the other day about what you do with them on Instagram.
Instagram's a big one, and look, it's something I'm not foreign to, but it takes work for me to be on there. So as soon as a member signs up, I'll follow them. I'll make sure I'm engaging with them. And again, it does one of two things. It makes them feel a part of the community, but you can also see what they're up to in their day-to-day life. It may sound a bit creepy, but at least then you've got conversational points and things like that, especially if it's a bit of a hard nut to crack. I've never had anyone not open up from a conversation. If you've been to a wedding on the weekend, it's, oh, this person actually cares about me. So those little things, those 1%ers, all our 1%ers accumulate to 20, 30, 40% better than most studios.
You keep talking about next level care. Walk me through what that actually looks like.
Yeah, mate, I guess it starts again from that first contact. And to grow on your question, you can't fake genuine care. You really can't. So we've got so many examples of clients coming out of their shell and really opening up to us. I've had multiple people cry to me, boys, girls, and at the level of care we show them. But also the amount of times we'll check in if something's going wrong in their life, we know that, or something, we'll actually check in. We'll write the messages. We'll see if we can help. I don't know how many fridges I've moved over the years.
Really?
100%. And I can't help that because I genuinely care about these people, and I'm not joking. Like, once you see that person bloom, it's amazing. And the amount of relationships that are built in active. I'm talking about people getting married. I'm talking about best friends. I'm talking about circles of people, and that's all because we've cultivated a community that are caring people, because it comes from the top.
This has been unreal. All right, let's just sort of wrap this up. I think the things that I want to kind of recap for our listeners out there is there's a genuine care for your members, your franchisees, anyone that's coming into your network. And I think that sort of stems from you personally having this sense of responsibility around the people that are coming into this whole sort of journey with you guys. But what I love about it is it's not just about we say we care and you've got a couple of nice guys working for you at HQ, is that you've systemized it. There's a system for it now. The 6 things for a perfect active class. There's a particular onboarding process that you guys kind of nail. There's workbooks and there's worksheets. There's actually tactical ways that you guys can reverse engineer and repeat this, whether it be in active Burleigh or Bundaberg.
Yeah, and it can be any person, any personality type, as long as you're willing. You know what I mean?
So that's the first thing, is the care. The second thing is I really do get this sense of hard work. Now, I reckon most studio owners that listen to this go, yeah, I'm a fucking hard worker as well. And I know that we meet so many of them every single week that sort of turn up at our front doors, and often it's the hard work that got them into this mess to begin with. But I think, what you've been able to do, and it takes a lot for someone with your personality type, same as me, is know when to surround yourself with people that can help you go to the next level. And where you feel like, okay, this is not going to just be more of me doing this, otherwise it will lead to burnout, right?
Exactly right. And we will work until we burn out time after time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it is just the way it is. And I think with the hard work, that'll never stop. I'm still up at 4 o'clock every single morning. Yeah. And I'm up because I love it. I want to be around people. I want to get to active early and make sure it's thriving, because I fucking care. But I'm about to take the next leap. The hard work doesn't stop. It never stops, ever. Yeah. I think you ask any successful CEO, the bigger you get, the harder you've got to work.
So what's the next big goal for you guys?
What we're doing now is we've set the most solid foundation for a network to grow that I've personally seen. And like I said, I've looked at a lot. I've looked at a lot of people that have been on the up, and I've seen what they've done. And I know categorically that we have the strongest base that I've ever seen for a network to grow. So with all our systems, all our processes, our app that we've got for our members, our education system. It's just getting that out there now.
Yeah.
So it's really growing the network and growing it with the right people. That's the next step for Active Strength Co.
Okay. And so why Strength Collective?
The name Strength is obviously synonymous with getting strong. There's so much more in our name than just getting strong. There's strength in our network. There's strength in our community. There's strength in what we do. It's strength in all those things. Strength in our trainers. And when we created the name, that's what it was all about. I wrote out all the things that I wanted to be strong, not just strength. There is so many factors with strength, and I mean, strength in our community is one of the big ones. And how do we make sure it's strong? And then we reverse engineer everything back from there. The word strength can mean so much more than what you probably think when you read the word.
I'll have one more question.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about
Friday.
No.
I said words like synonymous.
Yeah.
I don't say these things. It's
No, this is great.
It's when honestly, I've got
It's the fluffy.
No, I've got this thing. Every single podcast I do, I say shit, and I'm like, how the honestly, I just go into this mode where I'm like saying shit. I'm like, you can't say that. It's fucking weird.
What question do you wish I would have asked you, and how would you have answered it?
Why are you wearing a jumper? When you've got such good biceps.
Yeah, and how would you have answered it?
Because me being chaotic was rushing here, spilled my coffee, and I'm very annoyed that I can't show the viewers my biceps.
Well, maybe we'll slice in a different edit after this as well. And last question, mate, before we thank you for your time and let you dominate the world. Who do you know that we should interview next?
Oh, that's a great question. I think you should interview Keegan Hipgrave. Great story, on the way up in his own little business, and he can talk.
What's his business?
Well, he's got his own pod for a start.
Oh, yeah.
But he's doing a few things in the disability sector and things like that. So he's an Active Strength Co frothy. He trains with us. Ex-professional athlete, so ex-Titans player, ex-Eels player. He had to medically retire at 25 because of too many head knocks. Oh. Absolute legend of a bloke.
Okay.
Keegan Hipgrave.
What should I ask him?
The whole transition, I think, from being set to have an NRL career, and a very good one, to being told, hey, mate, you're 24 years old, you'll never play NRL again. From the age of 16, being in the Broncos system to the Titans system to the Parramatta system, and only ever knowing that. And then at the age of 24, when you probably haven't even thought about tertiary education or what am I going to do after footy, you're 24 years old, you've got your whole career in front of you. And the way he's pivoted and what he's done in a short 2-year time is just a testament to the bloke and a testament to his work ethic and what he believes in. So I think that's the power in his story is Teddy in the dirt, toys out of the cot, could have happened. But he went completely the opposite way and has just worked his little bum off to achieve what he has. Look at that, Keegs. What a bloody talk up that is.
Yeah, was it in that reel?
Yeah.
All right, Bart and Lukey in the background as well. Thank you so much for your time. We will keep the listeners posted on how you guys are going, rolling this thing out. But yeah, really believe in you guys.
You won't need an update. We're going to absolutely dominate. You'll see it on social.
And where can the listeners, viewers on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, where can they find you guys?
Yeah, so
And what
Instagram, obviously.
Yeah.
Anthony Bartolo __. Luke is lukelegit.com. No, he's he's Luke Kennelly. So you'll find him at Luke Kennelly. Our other business partner too gets a mention, Ali Day. You can find him on the beach or at aliday.com.
Yeah, fantastic. Team, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Easy. Thank you.
Bye.